Did you do anything for the 4th?
When was the 4th? Oh yeah, I was
last Tuesday.
Yeah, I was.
Was that exciting?
I invited myself to my friend's lake house.
Nice.
Yeah.
The best friends are friends with lake houses.
Yeah,
best friends. Yeah,
it's better not to own a boat, but know someone that owns a boat.
Yep. So we did that. It was great. The weather just missed us. I'm also officiating his wedding, which he gets married August 12th. I'm scared to death.
I'm sorry, did you say that you're officiating it?
I am an ordained minister, Vince.
By the state of Indiana?
By the state of Indiana.
There are so many things going through my mind right now that I can't say on the microphone. That
it is so, I'm terrified. I am absolutely terrified.
Are they going to record it? I want to watch this. Or should I just crash it? Wedding Crashers.
Yeah,
I'm sure somebody will record it. But I'm terrified.
Are you memorizing your lines?
No, I'm going to read it. I'm going to blow them up in 40-point font bold. And I'm terrified. I mean, guys, look, I sell insurance. And I do that marginally. I don't marry people, but he's my best friend. He asked. And it was funny how he asked, because he was like, we met at Whole Foods because I was on some juice cleanse, and he goes,
"That's another story."
Yeah, and he goes, "Hey, can you meet me for lunch?" I said, "Can we do Whole Foods?" And I explained why, and when we met, and he's like, "Judd, as you know, we have a limited number of groomsmen in the wedding, and I only have room for 3, but, I'm thinking, I got to have Judd in my wedding, somehow." So, and in my mind, I'm thinking like usher. I'm thinking like we talked about.
You'll be the ring bearer.
Caterer.
Yeah.
Ring bearer. Caterer.
Cater waiter.
Yeah. You make a good beef tenderloin, Judd. Can you make one for the wedding? And he just goes, will you officiate our wedding? And I'm like, what?
Come again?
I'm like,
what?
I just went from you don't have room for me in the bridal party, but
I'm going to be in every shot of this important
I'm leading it.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's freaking me out. Freaking me out. So
I'm sure you could probably post on Facebook Marketplace for someone looking to get a couple practice rounds under your belt before the 12th.
Well, we do have an all-office meeting tomorrow. You could just practice there.
Yeah, there you go. Does someone need their vows renewed at your...
There? Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You were not an ordained minister before he asked you, correct?
No, I went online.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Sally Struthers?
Well, I went online. When does this podcast air, by the way?
We don't know yet.
All right. So I went online and I shared with Noelle, let me test out my opening to the group. I shared this with you. Can I test it?
Yeah.
Just so I want to see what you guys think about it. So is this going to air?
This particular section? I mean, we can cut it out if we need to.
All right. Just as long as it doesn't air before August 12th.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I'm going to get up there and I'm going to say, hey guys, my name's Judd Feldman. For those of you that don't know me, I sell insurance. I'm not using this as a platform to sell you any. I'm just saying I don't do this, for a living, but I am ordained. So, I went online and I typed in my name and email, and they said, you're an ordained minister. And as an ordained minister, I feel compelled to make sure everybody in this room knows how to spell vows. Because you see, I texted Megan and I said, Megan's the soon-to-be bride.
Okay.
And I said, hey, Megan, when you have a moment, can you flip me the vowels that you wrote? And she texts back, A, E, I, O, and U. And the sad thing is I didn't get it for 10 minutes. I'm like, whoa, stop screwing with me. Just send me the damn vowels. And then I realized it's spelled VOWS. So, I mean, I'm an ordained minister, but I literally can't spell vowels.
I think this episode is changing, and I want to go down that path, but that's okay. Boiler up.
Boiler up.
Whoa.
That's good. That's
That
good.
is good.
That's a good story, though. I like that.
It's a good thing you have written out, so it's spell check all.
Well, yeah,
Help take care of
and
that,
I
right?
proofread. I'm not a public reader. I do not read in public. God forbid there be a word that I haven't seen, like chaos.
The only recommendation, knowing what I know now, is I think they should put a lightning rod on top of the structure where the wedding's being held.
Yeah.
That'd pretty
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
But it's freaking me out. So anyway,
Well, I'm
Enough
sure
about it.
I'm sure you'll be great. I'd love to see video of it
I'm sure there'll be one.
somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just crash it in video
Yeah,
for
I
him.
think so. Yeah. Just see us in the back there with a camera.
That'd be good.
Yeah. All right, let's roll into it, kids. Is this thing on? Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Summits Podcast. Thank you for joining us from wherever you get your podcast, or if you're watching right here on the Heroes Foundation YouTube channel, thank you for doing so. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed or hit that little notification bell, please do so. It won't cost you a dime. You don't even have to go online and become an ordained minister either. Just be perfect. Today we are joined by Judd and Noelle. Judd and Noelle, welcome to the Summits Podcast.
Thank you.
Good to be here. Thanks for having us.
Great. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Give our listeners and viewers a little background info.
Yeah. My name's Judd Feldman, and I am the agency president at AssuredPartners. I am married to my lovely wife, Lori, who I did meet at Purdue, who well, I'll say that for the next podcast. Anyway, been married for almost 20 years, have 3 daughters. Lily, she'll be a senior in high school at Brebeuf. Reese will be a sophomore in high school at Brebeuf, and Gwen will be in 7th grade at St. Luke. So 3 girls. And went to Carmel High School. Pretty much grew up in Indianapolis, and that's it. That's me.
I'm Noelle Perkins. I'm vice president of property and casualty at AssuredPartners. Grew up in the Midwest, originally from Cincinnati. Grew up in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So went to Homestead High School, swam there. Went to St. Bonaventure University in Western New York, swam there as well, and then eventually made my way out to Seattle, Washington. Lived there for about 12 years, met my husband out there. We had 2 little girls out there and decided when they were 2 and 10 months that we needed to be around more family and a more conducive environment to raise kids and cost of living and those sorts of things. So moved back here in 2016. I was with AP out in Seattle and just transferred out here, but kind of took on a bigger role here and been working with Judd for 7 years now. So
Cool.
I love it how she just glosses over swim. I swam.
Well, as
Yeah.
soon
And
as
then
you
I-
said St.
She is
Bonaventure, I was like, okay, I've got to ask, like, that's not normal coming from
Right.
Fort Wayne to St.
Right.
Bonaventure. And then you said to swim. I'm like, oh, that
Yeah.
makes sense now.
yeah, so it's a small school, but it's Division I. I wanted to swim Division I. I didn't want
Yeah.
to stay in Indiana.
Okay.
I feel like 50% of Homestead goes to IU and the other 50% goes to Purdue. So
Sure.
I'm the youngest of 4 and just always kind of want to make my own path. So I wanted to go out of state. So I went there in October for a recruiting trip, and it's just the campus is gorgeous in the fall, just tons of trees,
yeah.
and it's in the Allegheny Mountains. So fell in love with it and had a great time swimming. Wouldn't trade it. I mean, it was hard, but wouldn't trade it for the world. I don't think I would like being like a normal college student, having that much time on my hands. So it was good.
We'll have a conversation about that. You just reminded me of something else regarding our youngest, but we'll talk later on that one. Well, cool. Well, welcome, guys. 2 lifelong Hoosiers for the most part. Obviously, spent some time in the Pacific Northwest.
Boilers.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Sorry,
she's not. She's a
I'm
Bonnie.
not.
Yeah, Bonnie. Whatever.
That's different.
That's right.
I saw what you were trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sneak that in there. Lifelong Hoosiers.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have both been around the Heroes Foundation. Judd, I know you have for several years. Noelle has, at least the last couple I know. If you would, you guys, we'll get into the partnership side, but when were you first introduced, would you say?
Oh, geez, Vince, that's a good question. So I know who I was introduced by. It was Wells.
Yeah.
And that would have been probably 2016. 2015, 2016,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
And what drew you in?
Well, just the cause itself, right? Cancer impacts, and we'll talk about it in a little bit. It impacts everyone's lives, sadly. And at AP and Noelle's was a big part of it. We're very, community focused. So, whatever the cause may be, we're looking for leaders in that particular cause. And we looked at Heroes as a leader in cancer research, cancer support, et cetera. So, it was pretty easy for us.
Noelle, I know you have participated in at least the last couple Swing for Heroes, I believe. When did you become familiar with who Heroes is and what interests you? There's a lot of worthy causes in Central Indiana. What attracted you to the foundation or to what we were doing?
The events are always very well run and they seem very well participated, and it looks like the fundraising efforts are there. I think the first one I participated in was pre-COVID over at the Colts practice facility, the cycling one, because I love spinning and cycling. So that part of it intrigued me, and then just got to learn a little bit more about the organization. And I've golfed in the Swing for Heroes the last 2 or 3 years, and it's always a fun event and very well attended and very well ran. And so it's important with nonprofits that it's coordinated well, so the money can go as far as you need for research or support or whatever it is.
Right. Well, what we got two of you guys here, so you got two different stories to tell, but you guys know the basis for this podcast is talking about our cancer stories, and everybody's got one, unfortunately, or have multiple. So what are your guys' cancer stories?
You want me to go? You want me to go? Yeah, like you said, Vince, sadly, we all have probably multiple. 10 years, my mother had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and she beat it. She's thriving today. I have a friend now who's going through a pretty, he's fighting it now, and it was a hard diagnosis, and he continues to battle it. When I thought about this, Vince, and obviously those who are fighting the disease, are heroes, in their own right, but it's all of those that support them during the fight. And in this story, I got to get a really close look at somebody at AssuredPartners. At AssuredPartners, we merged 3 cultures, and one of the companies that merged into become AssuredPartners, one of the leaders of that company, his wife was diagnosed with an aggressive form of lung cancer. This would have been, I might be getting it wrong, like October of 2021. And it just presented itself as, like, on the image, they thought it was just a, pneumonia or something. But pain got worse, and it was a very sad diagnosis. It was advanced. It was lung cancer, non-smoking lung cancer. And, it was obviously, very, emotional, very sad, very scary. And I watched, they have 4 kids. They're in their late 20s they go from like late 20s down to like college. And this person in our office, he has a big job, to do. And, when he got that diagnosis, we as a leadership team, and we got with him and just said, take what you need. But to see him there for his wife, to see him, investigate and evaluate other forms of treatment, to see him, having to navigate the healthcare system, some of the gaps in care, to, identify ways to supplement and prolong life for his wife, but then all the while be a really good dad, be a extremely, positive influence on the culture of at AssuredPartners, balance the late nights with his wife and the early mornings and the long weekends to, coming into the office and getting done what needs to get done. So, watching him, I have a new, I guess, admiration for those who are, supporting those who are in the fight.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Caregiving is not easy. Well, how about you?
Well, yeah, I mean, similar to Judd, unfortunately, cancer affects all families, work families. I had a teammate in college that had cancer, and he battled through it while swimming, and was just incredible to watch him go through. He'd go up to Rochester for his chemo treatments and come back and go to classes and swim. And but I think I've had close coworkers that have passed from cancer that I still think of daily. But I think the one that probably impacted me the most was my good friend out in Seattle. Her little nephew, when he was 6, was diagnosed with DIPG, which is a rare inoperable brain tumor on their brain stem. Essentially, it's extremely aggressive, and I think the life expectancy is maybe 6 months or 12 maybe. The cure rate is like non-existent. I mean, it's so rare and aggressive, and just watching that little boy deal with that, and all the lives that he impacted, and it was just kind of hard to wrap my brain around, like, why a 6-year-old got that. And but you carry a spirit forward, and just watching his mom. I mean, they lived up in Bellingham, and which is about hour and a half north of Seattle. But I mean, they'd come down for cancer treatments down at Seattle Children's Hospital and UW. And, they'd come down for football games all the time. So we'd be at the tailgates with them. But just watching that family go through that and kind of seeing them on the other side and trying to be there to support them. But it definitely impacted me. And that was pre-kids for me. So once I had children, I kind of saw Kristen, the mom, I kind of saw her experience through a different lens. And I can't imagine. I mean, each birthday that comes up, like picturing what he would look like and what he'd be doing. And so it was awful. And I wish, there was more funds funneled to children's cancer research. And but the medical facilities out in Seattle that do a lot of research with that, they've made some progress, but they're just, it's very unfortunate when you look at the statistics.
Yeah, that story reminds me of the impetus for our Team Joey program, which is Joey Keller, who's the son of a fraternity brother of mine. Very, very similar story. You're right. It sucks. There's no other way to put it. Pediatric oncology research is underfunded. There's reasons for that, which we won't go into because it's a very hotly debated topic. Seattle Children's is one of the top-notch pediatric facilities or oncology facilities in the cancer centers in the country. So I'm sorry to hear that for sure, and you're right that's just another story that kind of stokes the fire of why we do something, because if we don't, who else is going to? And we don't have a choice. I mean, in my opinion, it's gotta make an impact somehow in some way. Otherwise, that 6% chance, I think you said, or whatever it was,
Right.
will never become 8 or 10 or 20 and so on. Well, thank you guys for sharing that. I think I wanted to also say thank you to both of you for your guys' continued partnership, not just personally, but also with AssuredPartners. You guys have stepped up over the last couple of years for sure. And, it's it's easy to be a sponsor. It's easy for a company to say, oh yeah, we'll sponsor a hole at the golf outing or buy a table at the gala, whatever. But you guys go beyond that and actually show up. You're there participating in not just a event, but multiple events. You're here participating and spending your time by sharing your cancer stories. That is a true partnership. And I know you guys look at that on the business side, which we can talk about later. You guys look at I mean, you're in a relationship business, so anybody can just go buy insurance from whoever they want, but you want to establish that relationship, which hopefully then turns into a partnership and so on. So we view most of our partners the same way. And so we appreciate you guys' support. So thank
Absolutely.
You make it easy.
Wow. I'm going to write that one down.
Yeah.
Judd said, sorry, the minister said.
Reverend. Reverend.
Yeah.
Reverend. Thank you.
The problem is when you say that, the image that pops in my head is Father Guido Sarducci. I don't know why.
That's funny.
You're welcome. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys coming in and sharing. Anything we're missing?
Not here.
All right. Well, thanks
for having
again
us.
for your
Yeah.
partnership.
Thanks for being
We
here.
look forward to it continuing, and thanks for coming in. We appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. And thank all you guys for joining us on this episode of the Summits Podcast. We appreciate you guys joining us from wherever you hear podcasts. Again, if you're watching on the Heroes Foundation YouTube channel and you haven't hit that subscribe button or the little notification bell, do it. It won't cost you a dime. You don't have to become an ordained minister. So we appreciate it. Thanks all you guys for tuning in again. And don't forget, beat cancer.